I'm essentially just solving my own problem. And I think with AI, we have a chance to really just save a lot of time, not necessarily like replace people, but equip people in their roles to be able to be 10 times more efficient. And so, that's my goal with Riva. It's really just based around real estate analysis, kind of to go off on like what it actually does. Doing acquisitions for a company every single day. I've been able to see the problem of real estate underwriting. It can take anywhere from like 30 minutes to an hour to underwrite a deal. Especially when you start really getting into it, you're going to be underwriting it multiple times, manually pulling all the comparable sales, double checking your renovation budgets, figuring out what price you're going to exit the property at, and then estimating like how much it's going to cost to even sell it with an agent, escrow, closing costs, all these little fees. It takes a lot of time. And in my opinion, that can be solved with a formula and with artificial intelligence. And so we've built a platform that does that for you in seconds, underwrites it, builds a report for you. You can look at it, update it, change things you don't want. And just the goal is just save people a lot of time, a lot of money. Hopefully with AI, we're going to get to the point where it's so accurate that, you go into a deal and it can tell you, hey, like this might be a bad deal. Like you're going to be losing money on this. How many times have people gone in on a deal thinking they're going to exit at this price because they missed this comp and now they're losing 50 now?
That's right. I mean, all the time.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest is based in beautiful San Diego, has a background in real estate acquisitions, and is now building Riva, an AI-powered underwriting software. Please welcome Sam Elwood. Sam, welcome to the show.
I appreciate you having me, Dylan. Looking forward to it.
I always like to start off at the top of the show by asking folks how they got into the real estate space.
Yeah, so great question. So I started working in real estate when I was 23 years old. Before I got in, I was just bartending nights, trying to make as much cash as I can, from tips to everything. And then I got, in at a big acquisition company in Southern California that purchases fixtures all throughout, the Southern California region, working sales for them, closing deals, doing property analysis. We really focused on buying fixtures, had some long-term holds as well, and did some wholesaling as well. So I've spent the past 3 years learning from the ground up, with a company here, and really just got my start that way. And then through them, I was able to, gain a lot of knowledge. I bought my first deal in San Diego this year as a long-term hold that I'm living in and house hacking and renting out one of the rooms. And I was able to get a really good deal. Came in, property needed a ton of work. I did a full rehab, put about $60,000 into it. And because of, how much rehab was needed, I actually walked into the deal and I have about $110,000 in equity in it now after only owning it for a couple months.
Let's talk about that.
That's how I got my start.
Let's talk about this deal.
Yeah,
I want to
of course.
ask you about how you found the deal, securing financing for the deal. Was this a very straightforward process? Was it an off-market deal, on-market? Tell me about the deal.
Yeah, so it was an off-market deal through the connections made. working in the past 3 years, like there's a lot of, off market wholesalers in San Diego. So I was able to get an off market deal. It was a condo that needed a lot of work. And so I was able to get it at a really, really good price. And I came in and I put like $60,000 into it. I bought it for 410, put about 60K into it, put a little money down, and it recently appraised for 560.
Wow. That's pretty good. Are you going to stay in it or are you selling
Yeah.
it?
No, I planning on staying in it. I'm gonna stay in here probably for another, we'll see, for a few months, maybe a year max. I mean, I'm house hacking it, so I have a tenant in here paying down the mortgage with me essentially. And the goal will be to pull out some equity into my next deal.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
I want to ask you about the real estate acquisition space in general. That's the space that I come from as well. I'm a Texas licensed realtor, but before that, I got started as a wholesaler, really didn't know anything about anything. And over time, started to get my first couple of deals working with a company at the time and went from acquisitions to dispositions, then did a little bit of both, then branched out on my own and started doing deals with JV partners, and then started taking deals from, the cradle to the grave, from beginning to end. When you were learning all the creative ways that people can make offers and also all the obstacles that come up with these deals, what was your experience like?
Yeah, so it was definitely a shock. Coming from, not a real estate background and just like bartending, coming in and seeing how much goes into all of it was definitely like, it was a learning experience for sure. But honestly, that's kind of what I really love about it is it's always engaging. Like I have so many stories from, running the acquisition from start to finish. It's never boring, to be completely honest with you. And, I was running from like taking leads. I've done the process from taking a lead to closing the deal myself, like going in person, meeting with sellers. So I've like seen it from start to finish. And yeah, it's definitely been a big learning experience for sure. That taught me a ton. There's so many ins and outs with that process that like until you really get into it and kind of dive into it, that's the only way to really learn about it. Like you can watch as many YouTube videos, read as many books. Like my biggest suggestion to anyone wanting to get into it is to just start and just learn as you go.
I share a lot of the same sentiment. One thing that I would add to that for me personally is having someone who may take a majority of the deal if it's your first deal or your first couple deals, but can really walk you through the process. It's very tricky. And so, especially when you are starting out and you have a deal under contract, you really, I can't speak for everybody, but I really had no clue anything about anything. I had no really where to turn to. So fortunately, I had a company that I was working for that could kind of be the backstop. But I think a lot of times when I see folks who are just starting out and winging it, there's a lot of risk there, but it works for some people. And so my hat goes off to them. I want to pivot a bit here, Sam, and ask you about getting into the space and your company, Riva. How did that come about?
Yeah, essentially. So the company name is Riva, Reeva.
Sorry about that.
Essentially, no, all good, all good. Before I got into the real estate space, something I was always interested in was tech. So, when I was bartending, I was going to school for computer science. Always had an interest and a knack for it. Loved how, creative you can get with it and how many problems you can solve.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors. and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
And, once I got into the real estate space, I always knew I wanted to figure out a problem that was in that space and solve it with technology. Because to be honest, real estate tech is extremely dated. It's like way, way, way in the past. And, that was a gap that I saw like working every single day. And I built my first product a year ago that didn't work out, and it was doing real estate analysis for long-term holds for landlords, and it ended up not moving forward for a couple reasons. We had a really big competitor that was just dominating in that exact solution, as well as not a ton of market fit with what we had. So we actually pivoted into Riva, which we've seen a lot of much more interest in, a lot more success with. And, I'm essentially just solving my own problem. And I think with AI, we have a chance to really just save a lot of time, not necessarily like replace people, but equip people in their roles to be able to be 10 times more efficient. And so, that's my goal with Riva. It's really just based around real estate analysis, kind of to go off on like what it actually does. Doing acquisitions for a company every single day. I've been able to see the problem of real estate underwriting. It can take anywhere from like 30 minutes to an hour to underwrite a deal, especially when you start really getting into it. You're going to be underwriting it multiple times, manually pulling all the comparable sales, double checking your renovation budgets, figuring out what price you're going to exit the property at, and then estimating like how much it's going to cost to even sell it with an agent, escrow, closing costs, all these little fees. It takes a lot of time. And in my opinion, that can be solved with a formula and with artificial intelligence. And so we've built a platform that does that for you in seconds, underwrites it, builds a report for you. You can look at it, update it, change things you don't want. And just the goal is just save people a lot of time, a lot of money. Hopefully with AI, we're going to get to the point where it's so accurate that, you go into a deal and it can tell you, hey, like this might be a bad deal. Like you're going to be losing money on this. How many times have people gone in on a deal thinking they're going to exit at this price because they missed this comp and now they're losing 50 now.
That's right. I mean, all the time. Sometimes people just say the first flip is a learning lesson because of how common that is.
Yeah.
I have some questions about Riva, but I actually want to take this a different direction. You have an interesting path in hearing your story. So computer science background, right? Bartender, had an initial idea that didn't get off the ground. Now Riva is getting off the ground. I want to ask you about your journey, because I think there's a lot of people who may have really just gone a different way at so many different points in your journey. Maybe out of school, bartender, they think, okay, I'm not going to go do the computer science thing any longer. But you kept it really in the forefront and now have a tech platform that is really, of course, heavily utilizing your background. Walk me through kind of the resilience involved and then also being able to pivot, right? Because you've gone and been able to pivot while still dealing with what I think a lot of young folks are dealing with, which is you kind of get into a career path and then say, well, hey, how am I going to make a living, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would say what's kind of got me to where I'm at today was, like you said, a ton of resilience, a ton of grit. And anytime I saw an opportunity put in front of me, I did not hesitate to just take action. Like when I was bartending and getting my degree in computer science, I was like, okay, this is a good path. I could stick this out for another couple of years. And I got this interview with this acquisition company, and I'm sitting here, I'm looking at people making, hundreds of thousands of dollars and in the space in real estate that I'd always wanted to be in. And so when I got an interview and I got offered the job, I just pounced on it, like no hesitation, just went in full guns. And when I started out, like I worked every single day, literally for months and months. I would work Monday through Friday. I would stay until the office from 9 a.m. to sometimes 8 p.m. And then on the weekends, I was door knocking properties that were in default and seeing if sellers, needed help and needed offers. And Saturday morning and Sunday morning, I was doing that all day. And then I was still, for the first couple months to make ends meet, bartending Fridays and Saturday nights. So I just went all in.
I want to ask you about the computer science tie-in with real estate. I think and I want to highlight this because actually I kind of have a similar path, not a diploma, but am a real estate guy, but I'm also actually in a software engineering boot camp. And I think that they run very
Nice.
parallel. Real estate
Mhm.
utilizes a lot of tech, especially now. You mentioned kind of the outdated systems. It's a lot of that.
Mhm.
And so people are seeing that, and there's a real need there, good adoption, and a lot of traction that people are seeing with some of this AI and other tech as well. But you mentioned having your eye on real estate while having the computer science background. Do you see that as being common? And then also, what was it about real estate while you were studying computer science, right, that really draw you to it?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Honestly, in terms of someone having interest in software and real estate, it's not super common, to be completely honest. Like working in the real estate space around people in acquisitions, real estate agents, a lot of them don't fit the typical personalities that someone has in the software industry
Right.
and vice versa. People in software are usually a lot more analytical, and people in real estate seem to be a lot more, expressive, a lot more personality forward. Honestly, truth be told, it's not super common. It's something that I think is super powerful to have if you have that interest, because you can
Yeah.
solve all these problems for these people. And so, yeah, it's not something I see super often. And sorry, what was the second question?
Second question is really what drew you into the real estate space? I mean, to your point,
Yeah.
there's a lot of you have to kind of have the ability, I would say, to withdraw in order to solve some of these complex analytical problems in computer realm, right? But then you have to have the opposite ability. You have to be constantly in front of people in real estate. So what drew you
Yes.
to real estate?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I had, even when I was in high school, it was real estate was something I wanted to get into because of, the power of how you can build wealth through it. I saw it as the ultimate vehicle towards, you know, generational wealth. And I always knew I wanted to get into it. And so when I was studying computer science, I enjoyed it. I'm fairly analytical, enjoyed doing that work and solving problems and creating things. And, it's kind of like solving a puzzle. And so I enjoyed that, but I saw it as a vehicle for me to get, a good salary to eventually invest in real estate. So when I got this opportunity to actually just hop straight into it and learn from the ground up, I just went head first because it was a no brainer. And so, yeah, I was really just pulled towards, I want multiple properties. I want to be able to take care of my family. I want freedom, which real estate brings. And I had some friends who were already getting into real estate, had done a couple flips, had bought like a fourplex. And I saw how it was setting up their life and giving them stability, giving them freedom, allowing them to control their own destiny. And, you know, it was a no brainer. I've always wanted to be in this space, and just having that extra skill with tech and the interest in software just has, my opinion, is going to set up my future after real estate as well.
I want to ask you about Riva and the
Mm.
maybe the asset classes that work best with Riva, or maybe it works across multiple. If I'm looking at single family deals, fix and flips, let's say, but I'm also looking for deals that might work if I was going to hold on to it, maybe as a short-term rental. And then I'm also in the back of my mind looking at, 1 to 4 unit duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes in the same
Mm.
general area, right? So let's say I'm a Texas licensed agent, so I might be looking at properties in Dallas or Fort Worth or just north of that. Can I underwrite all those asset classes using Riva?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're specializing in single family homes, condos, townhomes, apartments, and then multifamilies as well. Our algorithm with comps is really what our baseline is for determining analysis. I've spent a lot of time, with my technical guys, like focusing on getting accurate comps. And from there, that's where the whole tree stems towards your deal analysis, determining its exit, what price you need to buy it at, of course, mixed in with like renovation budgets, what it's going to cost to sell. So 100%. And we're starting out with like the single family homes, multifamilies, condos, townhome apartments, but we're going to be moving into development as well, which, development is growing a lot in the United States. And so we're going to be building a whole underwriting strategy through our platform that's going to help people who want to, buy property with a lot and build some ADUs. We need help checking the zoning, figuring out like the tax and the city laws for this specific property in this specific area as well. So to answer your question in short, yes, you 100% can use it for those asset classes. And we plan on growing into all asset classes, commercial, development, everything.
Very cool. I think it's conversational too. So if I'm asking it, literally typing in, hey, I'm looking at X, Y, and Z address. This is my exit strategy. Help me underwrite this deal or something similar to that. It'll respond back in a conversational manner, correct?
Exactly. So you can, essentially like you have free form for how you want to interact with it. Very similar to ChatGPT. Big difference with ChatGPT. It's not like structured specifically for an investor and an agent. And we have a lot of data on the back end, property tax records, everything that, essentially fuels our engine, along with our own industry knowledge of, how to, the correct underwriting flow, the most efficient way for these investors and agents. So yeah, it's super conversational. And then there's a lot of guidance as well for users so that, if you're a new investor, new fiction, you don't know what questions to ask, literally just put in the address of the property that you're going to analyze. And we have a whole prompt that will just rip out, comps, renovation budgets, everything for you.
That's taking it to another level. I really appreciate what y'all are doing and congrats on where you're at. And I'm sure on the continued success. Sam, we are coming up on time here though. Where can folks go if they'd like to learn more about Riva, or maybe if they're in the greater San Diego area and they'd like to reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go to our Instagram, riva.ai. So that's about GETREEVA.ai. It'll have our link to our website in it, a ton of content. And from there, if you guys want to, sign up, give it a try. We have a promotion going right now for 2 weeks free completely. So you can try it out for 14 days, see if you like it. And, if you do, it's just $50 a month. You can, use it as much as you want. I have a live chatbot in there that connects directly to my phone. So any suggestions on the software, any problems you're having, you can speak directly to me.
Sam, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Dylan. This is great.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.